Hello there, I'm Gus, and this is another episode of Askewed Reviews. And today I'm reviewing a film that's currently in theaters. The movie that I'm referring to is the 2026 film Send Help, directed by Sam Raimi. So this movie is part thriller, part horror, and part comedy, but a whole lot of fun. So let me tell you more about the concept to see if this is something that you want to check out for yourselves. So this movie really centers around two characters. Our first one is Linda Little, played by Rachel McAdams. Now, she is a loyal, faithful employee who has been working for a company for 7 years. Now, Linda is a real workhorse. She does whatever she's told, she gets the job done, and she does it extremely well. Unfortunately, a lot of the other employees there just kind of treat her as if she's invisible or like she's a pariah. Yes, she might be a little odd or awkward, but she's extremely nice and extremely helpful. Outside of work, she lives a quiet, ordinary life. She has a pet bird. She doesn't really go out many places, although she would be willing to if someone invited her. And she's a huge fan of the television series Survivor. Recently, though, she did find out some really good news. She's going to be given a promotion and a raise. However, though, that was before the CEO passed away. This then brings me to the second main character, Bradley Preston, played by Dylan O'Brien. He's actually the son of the CEO and has inherited the company. It's really easy to tell that Bradley is just one of these one percenter a-holes who is just coasting through life and is a jerk to pretty much everyone, but is able to put on that smile and seem like a nice guy from time to time. Now, Bradley immediately decides that Linda is just a weirdo, and instead of giving her the promotion, is going to give it to his best friend who's only been at the company for 7 months. It is, however, pointed out to Bradley that his best friend is not that well equipped to take on this role yet. So, what Bradley decides to do is to pretend that Linda still has an opportunity at getting the job, but is going to use this opportunity of them taking a trip to have his best friend learn as much as possible from her and then get rid of her. So while Bradley, his inner circle, and Linda are on the plane flying to their destination, they end up hitting some turbulence. And because, at least in my assumption, the cabin was just filling up with so much misogyny that it ended up bursting and causing the plane to crash. Now, it does end up landing in the ocean. However, though, the only survivors end up being Linda and Bradley. And to be honest, the only reason Bradley even survived is due to Linda helping him out. So now the two of them are stuck on a deserted island until hopefully someone manages to find them. Now, the interesting thing that starts to happen here is finding out that Linda is not only surviving here, but thriving. She apparently wasn't just a fan of Survivor, she learned how to do so many different skill sets that this ended up being something exactly in her wheelhouse. Now, after being humbled a few times, Bradley ends up making the realization that he is going to have to rely on Linda to be able to survive here. So, with Linda being willing to do whatever it takes to stay on this island, and Bradley being willing to do whatever it takes to get off the island, who's going to end up being the true survivor? This movie, by the way, has already become one of my favorites for this year. It is extremely entertaining and such a fascinating movie to watch. You really have to give it up for the two actors in this. Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien do such an amazing job of playing their characters. There's moments where I feel like you're gonna love both of them, hate both of them, feel indifferent towards them. I don't know, you just kind of go through the full range of emotions towards both of these characters. One of the things that I found really funny about this film is that going into it, I knew this was Sam Raimi, and the very beginning and leading a little bit into the movie, I had to remind myself, oh, right, yeah, this is Sam Raimi. And then the moment where Linda goes on the boar hunt, I instantly was like, yep, this is the guy who did Drag Me to Hell. That is very clear at this point. This movie really was so much fun. I laughed at times. There was moments where I was like, "Oh God, that's so gruesome," and just I really enjoyed this one. So for me on my scale, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I absolutely recommend going and seeing this while it's in theaters, but if you can't, definitely check it out once it's available for streaming. Now, if you've already seen Send Help, Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Now, something I've recently started to do is just add a question at the end of some of my movie reviews. So today's question is, how likely or what do you think the odds are of you being able to survive on a deserted island? Feel free to answer that in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews.